Real grade.
Zaku 2. I'm Nick,
I'm Ryan.
and we do Gundam reviews.
Yep. Now we're doing the parts for the Zaku 2.
Real grade. For spare parts, you're going to get these.
Zaku Bazooka.
Heat Hawk.
That was a bit unnecessary. 2 trigger finger split hands. Open hand. Closed fist.
You're going to get a spare head top with a little slit in the top of it, so you can have, the 2 different kinds of fins, just to make it a little bit more fancy.
As you can see, we have a bunch of pieces of a Zaku.
So,
and right there, behind that pappy, is the head. I don't know why it keeps focusing in and out. That is not me.
well, anyways, let's get started with the parts. Alright, to start off, let's start at the bottom, we'll work our way up. We got the feet, which are, we have 2 different colors, green and some gray in there, of course, black. Well, thrusters on the bottom. There's 3 bend spots in the foot, 1 on the toe, and 1 right here where my thumb is. So you can get lots of advanced movements with the foot.
And the leg has these very well designed piping, and that's just the spring.
The cute little springs.
And it has a great bend here. When you bend the leg, this part slides up and it splits in the thigh. It's a good 180 bend. Then you have another moving part right here for the ankle. And then it'll just move there at the hip.
Speaking of hips, we got the waist armor where the hips connect to. So basically all one color. You can mount weapons on the sides. Front skirts, oopsie. The front skirts should move generally really far up without knocking them over. Thing is with these, the skirts tend to fall off a lot, especially the side skirts.
They're hard to get back on too.
Yeah. And if I can figure out how to do this right. Yeah. You can pull this part down to mount the Zaku Bazooka. So that's about all we got for moving parts. And parts that fall off.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
The chest is pretty cool. It's one of the 2 real grades to have an opening cockpit right there. I know the Char Zaku doesn't.
Sadly.
Yeah, but there's the little neck thing here. The other part of the neck's on the head itself. More pipes. These aren't the springs. Just connects to the waist in there. And you have movement here, like that much. And the thrusters move up and down.
Very nice. For the arm with the shield, it's basically just a Zaku arm. Of course, it bends, gets the full 180, and there's a tiny little split, if you can see it right there on the upper arm, kind of like the split on the thigh. And when you're taking hands off to switch the manipulators, this part already came loose just from me doing that. The wrist piece, it's very loose. Don't lose it because it is a small part.
And it doesn't even click into anything.
Which is strange because this kit is really well designed. I guess everything has its flaws. But and then here for movement with the shield, it looks like it's only going to be that much, but it pops out like so. And on the inside of the shield, we have nice detail, so you don't have to put loads of lining in there, but there's still lining for it.
You can also, if you like it, you can spin the shield all the way around. And the spike shoulder is basically the same, if you really needed to do that.
And the last part, right behind this little pappy, is the head. It's, well, of course, it's 1/144 size, it's really small, but nice feature if you can see, because our camera doesn't focus well, we have a moving mono eye. So that is a really nice touch. And it's just a pink sticker on top of the mono eye. Some people paint it.
It's under a clear plastic, though.
Yeah, you can kind of see how it's under the clear plastic right there. But some people paint it, some people don't. It's all up to you. And then here we have some more piping on the side of the head, which isn't springs like on the legs. I think that's the only part where there's springs, if I'm correct.
Yep.
I am.
And here is the Zaku machine gun. This part here moves, handle, and you can see in the magazine, you can actually see all the little rounds.
Just like I predicted.
Slap that back on. It's got a little peg in there to put in the hand, you can't really see it. Stock doesn't move. And this little sight here goes back and forth.
For the Zaku bazooka, it's pretty basic. The handle moves up and down. The sight here, it moves up and down like so. There is a tiny little peg in there to put in the hand, which you still can't see. And that's about it.
And the heat hawk? No moving parts. It's a heat hawk. What do you expect?
We've already showed you, and you should know that the 3-finger finger split has, well, of course, just like the name implies, oh, popped one out, has 3 fingers, and the trigger finger, which are split, which makes it easier and possibly more complicated to arm your model with a gun, but makes it fun to play with.
Alright, well.
And lastly, for the parts, actually, before we forget this, we got our little pappy.
Yeah, we do.
These things break really easy when cutting them out of the runners.
They do. This is the first one we haven't broken out of our 3 real grades.
Yeah. So, just be extremely careful.
Yep. Because Amuro broke at the knees and Kira broke at the ankles.
I only cut one gate off of Amuro and he exploded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put this together. Put the side skirt back on. Or the front skirt, I mean to say.
The foot just has a small hole, and there's a peg at the end of the ankle there. It's really simple. Just plug it in. Oh, missed. Don't miss, kids.
Then you just plug in the leg.
Into the hip joint.
And, yeah.
Same idea with the arms. Here's the hole. Here's a peg on the chest. Put that in.
Just hear a little click.
Not that. Sometimes it's easier to flip up the shoulders and the shields just so you can see what you're doing. Maybe that's why they put that in there. Come on, Ryan, you can do it. There you go.
And the waist, you just got another peg and another hole.
Pretty simple mechanics.
Not really click there, but you can feel that went in.
And then, for the head, there's a hole deeper in there.
And a tiny little ball joint.
And then you just put it on top.
You can go up and down.
Side to side with the moving mono-eye.
Yeah. Spin 360. The leg can go up that high if you
want to take off the side skirts.
and the front skirts.
Oh, even.
You can kick up that high if you really felt like losing his armor. And the bend, well, I guess the leg falls off too then. These real grades don't tend to stay together very well.
They're more for show off, not really playing with. You can still pose them, but it takes some time and dedication.
You see the bend here in the spring and the foot. And that cockpit's still open. It's playing with the beam saber.
Pointing, actually.
And you can mount the heat hawk on the side there. And if I can get this open, the
Zaku bazooka.
Just fold these in and slap that on.
There's a little peg and slit type deal in there.
Yeah. And you can just stand him up here with his right side of waist armor. Oh, and that fell off. See, it's not very good connection with the zaku bazooka or the side skirts. And the feet don't stand up very well. You have to really take your time and flatten it. Sorry for not having that on it right away.
It's actually probably a good idea that you didn't see that. That was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, the side skirt fell off. The bazooka fell off. This thing really falls apart in the waist.
Yeah, the Zakus have a really big problem with the waist falling apart. It's probably the biggest downside.
Yeah. Alright, well that's the parts.
Come back for the verdict.
Yep.
Final frontier. We do this, don't we? Ryan, you weren't supposed to press play. First, I'm sorry.